Good evening. Good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now so I can answer your questions. Today, boy, I am getting good news back to back. In the courts lately, they have been siding with the people and in defense of our own rights, uh, deciding against the Trump administration and what they are doing, using certain laws to justify expeditious deportations without due process, without court hearings. Well, we have a very good case coming out of South Texas, which most of the deportations to El Salvador are taking place from Texas. With they're transferring a lot of the immigrants that they plan to send to El Salvador to South Texas and removing them from there. Well, the district court in South Texas has now blocked the use of this wartime law to deport immigrants. And of course, part of that is immigrants to El Salvador. They have found it to be unlawful. Now, this is definitely a groundbreaking decision because it was a swift decision, and it is straight up permanently barring the use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport people without hearings. Now, this is round one, though. So we are going to see this being appealed, of course. But here's the good news. Across the board, what we are seeing is we are seeing courts disagreeing with the Trump administration and finding that it is likely unlawful. So around the country, we do have temporary injunctions, but the judge in South Texas implemented a permanent bar of this law, the use of this law to deport Venezuelans to El Salvador. But of course, we know that if they try to justify any immigrant under the Alien Enemies Act, then they could go to El Salvador, where they would be there for an indefinite amount of time, because they are basically sentencing these people to indefinite time without a trial or without any due process. So that's good news, everybody. We are seeing a pattern here, and I would say that based on the pattern, it looks like the judges are agreeing and consistently ordering that the use of this law is unlawful. We continue to, I am going into the weekend really feeling encouraged about the fact that the judges are really becoming the heroes of the day. And let me tell you this, the judge that made this decision was a Trump appointed judge. So you know it has to be bad when a Trump appointed judge is saying, absolutely not, this is completely unlawful. All right, so that's my update for today. And I'm going to go ahead and answer questions now. So, what I want you to know is you see, due process is alive and well. The legal system does strongly believe in due process. And it means that you also need to take action. Don't hide in the shadows. If you are legally qualified for an immigration benefit or relief, the best thing you can do is to get that relief, apply for that relief so that you can legally stay in the United States. You can always call the office. You can call the office 24/7. If you're up 3 in the morning thinking about this, you can give us a call. We have our team, and all of us are very much active and invested in helping as many people as we can. So we have a team that they are going 24/7 in answering questions and basically getting you scheduled for for an appointment with us as the attorneys. What we do is a free initial evaluation. So we don't waste your time and money. We let you know whether there's an option that we're able to help you with. All right. So now that I have given you the update, I'm going to jump straight into questions. So let us go into questions. Thank you so much for the gifts and the love. Go ahead, make sure you share this live, like, subscribe, follow. This is how other people get the information they need to empower themselves through their immigration journey. So make sure that you go ahead and do that now. All right. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Happy Friday, everybody. All right, I'm going to start with TikTok because I'm seeing a lot of activity on TikTok. So let me go ahead and then, but please put your questions in the comments so that I can answer. Is PD available? VAWA approved, case was administratively closed. So prosecutorial discretion is available. It's on a case-by-case basis. So where they were a little more generous in the previous administration, they are still evaluating prosecutorial discretion. But keep in mind, it's really on a case-by-case basis. No, another thing, if your VAWA was approved, then the next thing is to wait until either file adjustment of status if your case was terminated, or and VAWA by itself does give you deferred action as well if it's approved. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay, let's go here. Okay, Instagram. Hello. Let's see what questions. Hi there, Mountain Top 7. Thank you so much. God bless you too. And can you help me with getting my citizenship? Absolutely. We help our clients to get citizenship. Give us a call. We'll go through an initial evaluation, then get set up to talk about getting that done for you. If you were deported over 20 years ago for overstaying your time, can you still apply back for an American visa? So after 20 years after deportation, the bar period may be over. It depends on the specific reasons for the removal. But after 20 years, you possibly can apply for an American visa again. It is possible. But since we don't know, this is very basic. I don't know what yes, you said overstaying, but that may be a simplified reason for the deportation. So you definitely need to talk to an attorney to make sure that we get all the facts to be able to advise. Hi there, Sheena. All right. Thank you so much. Blessings and respect to you too. Thank you. Got a work in the US, but the company say they need to see my green card, but I don't get it as yet. What can I do? So now, if you're here in the US, yes, they're going to want to see your green card. If you have been approved for your green card and you haven't gotten it, then you need to contact immigration to see what happened with it. Did it get lost in the mail? Whose fault was it? If it was their fault, then you can possibly get it replaced for free. If it's your fault, like you put a wrong address on the application, then they're going to require you to pay and pay for a replacement. The other thing you can do, though, to make sure you secure that job with your green card is to get what's called an I-551 stamp. And you can go ahead and schedule an appointment at the USCIS and get that stamp in your passport. It is equivalent to a proof of permanent residence. So it's like having your green card, but stamped in your passport. And that will be able to hold you over until they can send a replacement for your green card. So yeah, so if they're asking for your green card, you need to make sure you follow through there. Okay. right. Go ahead. Thank you for the love. Go ahead, tap the screen so others can see the information that I am at, that where I'm answering questions, and they can ask questions and get information that empowers them. How safe is it to travel with advanced parole and travel permit? So I would say right now is a risky time. Really, if you're going to travel, you need to make sure you fully understand the risks that you are facing individually, because it really comes down to your background. What happened in your background? Do you have any criminal record? Do you have any, is there, and trust me, they are looking at everything, right? Or they're looking at a lot in your background, and come based on what we're seeing with other immigrants, they're really, stretching to find reasons to take away people's green card or not let them back into the country. While a vast majority of people will travel without a problem, you need to make sure that you fully understand what kind of risk you may face. You may end up being a little more stressed out because they might put you in secondary inspection. Many times, when my clients are traveling on the travel document, many of them do still get moved into secondary inspection, which can be very stressful for them, where they have them there for 20 minutes to even 2 hours, just, searching their phones, asking additional questions, scouring their application, their background. So you definitely have to keep that in mind and decide whether the risk is worth it. My interview was on April 17th and got approved April 23rd, but I-485 is still pending. Is that normal? They may have found that they need something else with your pending adjustment of status. So you need to check with them to see what was there further correspondence sent to you regarding any additional things, documents or information they need. What's the cost for consultation? $150. But initially, we go through a free evaluation. That way, we don't waste your time and money. We want to make sure that it's clear that you do qualify for an assistance that we can help with, an option that we can help with first. At that point, once we determine that there is a good chance of an option, then you're scheduled for an appointment with one of our attorneys here at the firm that works very closely with me, and they will go over the strategy and confirm that you qualify. Please, my sister's visa was canceled at Canada border. What can she do to get the visa back? So it depends on the reason it was canceled, and that can. No, keep in mind, when a visa is canceled, it's very hard to get it back, because having a visa is not a right, it's a privilege. So the next thing is you would have to look at, was the decision to cancel the visa, was it in any way outside of the purview of the law? Was it justified? Did the officer have the authority to do that? And then we can go from there. Okay. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. You real steel, you're welcome. Wow, today is sort of quiet, but I think it's because it's Friday. Usually I'm getting a ton of questions. I'm unable to keep up. And I don't even see questions on YouTube. What's going on? Do you represent at the interview? So yes, the clients, we do represent clients at the interview, but for our clients. So we file their case and carry them through the process. And when interview comes, then we do give them the option to be at the interview as well. My friend got a 5-year green card. Is that normal? So it's usually 2-year or a 10-year. Getting the 5-year is not normal. It's not. No, keep in mind, your friend mistaking a green card for a work permit? The work permit is 5 years. Right now, they're issuing 5-year work permits. So you might be mistaking the green card for a work permit. Work permits are, green cards are either 10 years or 2 years. Do you renew passports? No, we don't usually do that. Do you have an office in Fort Lauderdale? We are located in Delray Beach, Florida, and we represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. Fort Lauderdale is just down the road from us. So no matter where you are, we can help you, whether you're in Florida, whether you're out of Florida. So give us a call. How safe is it to travel with us? I answered that. I enter USA by K1. So let's see. Do you work with military applications? So I don't know if this is military. To join the military, we do military parole in place. So absolutely, we do that. If you are a military member and you have an immediate relative who you would like to get protection and the ability to get their papers, we do what's called military parole in place for the relatives of the military member. Now, the relative of the military member has to be the military member has to be a U.S. citizen, and the immigrant has to have a history of coming into the country without permission. Then military parole would be an option. Best way to close removal proceedings based on approved VAWA. So that would have to be filed with the court to reopen and then terminate. So that's going to be the best. So, and then what we do is we do work with opposing counsel, and we ask them if they're willing to join a motion. But if not, then you can file directly with the court based on the new information. Tried to get my SSN and was told it's pending and they have to wait on DHS. Any advice? So if the Department of Homeland Security didn't send you your work permit yet, or they haven't approved it, you wouldn't be able to get your social security number. So first they approve your work permit, then they will send notification to the Social Security Administration to let them know that you are now qualified for a social security number. So it just depends on the order of that process. If the Social Security Administration is saying they're waiting on DHS and you have approval notices, bring the original approval notices showing that you were approved with the work permit, and then that should help you to get back on track. So if your client is out of state, do you attend that interview via phone call or would you fly out? So this is not, first of all, you have to be our client and then we will talk. So I don't get into the logistics of that until you're a client, and then we talk about how we need to arrange travel plans. Do you work with a group of lawyers because you use the term we? Yes, so I have a large team that works with me. So yes, I lead the firm. I'm the managing attorney at SC Law Office, but we have lawyers that work with us. I do have staff attorneys. When you call, you talk to the staff attorneys who can advise you. We all work very closely together. So absolutely, that's what makes us great is no man is an island, and my team is just as passionate as me. They want to make sure they're helping as many immigrants as possible, including my wonderful attorneys and staff from my staff, my team members that answer the phones, to my team members, legal assistants, paralegals. We are all on board. We all work very closely together to make things possible for our clients. I applied for I-751 and N-400 last March. Got an appointment for end of May. Is that okay? That sounds, yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like you may be on track. Hi, good evening. Do you think an amnesty for people who overstayed their visiting visa might be in the near future? Wishful thinking. So I would say it really depends on how the tables turn over the next few years. That has been there have been calls for amnesty for immigrants who are here who don't have their papers. But right now, I would say that is not something you should expect right now. But it just depends on how the tables turn over the next few years, and I never say nothing is impossible. Sometimes we as we say, we push through and we aim for the best. So it's something that could be possible, but right now, not this year. I wouldn't say this year. But let's see what happens. We Miracles can happen. Thank you. Okay, good day. Can I-212 and I-602 applicants be expedited? Any application can be expedited if you have the correct basis for the expedite request. So, is there a medical emergency, urgent humanitarian need? Do you work in a type of job that it's going to be detrimental to the company if it doesn't get pushed through faster? So those are some of the ways, and you have to do it in writing or give them a call, and then they will process your expedite request. If someone got their citizenship through their parents, what is the form they need to complete in order to get their certificate of citizenship? The N600 is a certificate of citizenship. So N600, you can also go for your passport. How to get prepared for parent adjustment of status interview. So prepare all the documents. Make sure your parents carry their original documents. So that's going to be birth certificate, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, death decrees. If any marriage was terminated previously, birth certificates, um, the if you have proof of entry into the United States, I-94, for example, is going to be an important one to show proof of legal entry into the United States. And then also make sure you go line by line through your application, because that is our practice now. They're going to go line by line through the application and ask every single question. They're going to ask address history, employment history, travel history. So it's important, if you want it to have a smooth process, for your parents to know what's in their adjustment of status application, and items that you may not have. If you have any updated evidence that you knew you should have put in the application that you didn't, it's time to carry that. Make sure you have your affidavit of support ready in case the officer asks for it again, or if they need an updated one for any reason. That's going to be important to have at the interview. Go over sample questions to make sure that they're ready, they can answer questions. And the parent adjustment is basically, once their focus is the relationship, making sure it's valid relationship. So it's a little easier for parents, child petitions than the marriage base, because marriage base is a lot more involved with a lot more questions focused on the marriage to prove that the marriage is bona fide. But they should know everything on their application. That's going to be the main concern, and make sure they carry all their original documents. So I just gave you a one-on-one, the very detailed checklist for the interview process and preparing for that interview. If you just get your 10-year green card, can you travel? Yeah, you have the ability to travel. The green card gives you that right. However, keep in mind that the green card holders are not insulated from getting the green card taken, or to experience secondary inspection. That's where they pull you aside, interrogate you, possibly check your devices. And if they do find something, they may use it as a basis to try to take away your card. So you have to be careful. I just say walk good, make sure you walk carefully, travel with caution, understand your rights, understand what the risks are, what kind of risks you face based on your background. I got my SSN and work permit, and it didn't say anything about interviews. Now I got mail for interview. Should I be concerned? So I would say you want that interview, right? The interview now, interviews are going to be a part of our lives again. Before, interviews were waived, and as soon as we got used to it, it got thrown out. So now we have interviews again. That interview represents the end of your process, possibly the end of the process if the interview goes well. So, should you be concerned? Yes, absolutely, you should be concerned. Just because you need to prepare, right? The focus is to make sure you're thoroughly preparing. If there's something that you're worried about in your background, then you should definitely talk to an attorney so that we can advise, get the facts here and advise. But if they don't schedule interviews, it means that you're just waiting, you're still waiting. An interview means you're looking at the end of your process. Should you prepare and have everything ready for that interview? All right. Hello. Can you please talk more about registration requirement? The registration requirement are for certain individuals, mainly those children so who are turning 14 within 30 days of them turning 14, just because most children are not fingerprinted, so they want to make sure they get their biometrics. Also, any immigrants who enter the country without permission, who are not applying or who have not applied for adjustment of status, they would have to go ahead and register. Also, if anybody applied for parole, were granted parole, granted came in with a visa, even though the visa is now expired, then you do not need to register. All right. So it's mainly for those who came into the country without permission, Canadians who plan to stay more than 30 days, and those who are changing age from going from 13 to 14 within 30 days of that. Keep in mind, this is not an exclusive list. So this is where it's very important to get legal advice. We are helping immigrants to understand their rights, understand whether they need to register or not. If you call, just let the staff know that that's why you're calling, because you want to understand your options, but also understand what you need to do in regards to registration requirement, and we'll be able to advise you based on your particular circumstances. All right. Good evening. With 10-year green card, can I travel to Nigeria? So you can travel now, but keep in mind, I can't tell you in particular, but with the green card, you're allowed to travel, but understand your risk. Is the USCIS office in New Jersey kind of hard? So I don't usually assign which ones are hard, which one. I really think it comes down to the applications, what's in your application, and possibly the officer who's doing the interview. There are challenges at every single office, but it really comes down to what's in your application and what's involved in your process. After submitting N400, all the evidence, what more evidence they need to approve the I-751? When it comes to I-751, they need proof, and it depends. Are you filing jointly with your spouse? Which, if you're applying within 3 years, or you could be applying 5 years, but it depends. Are you filing jointly with your spouse? Are you filing based on a waiver? If you are, the main concern is proving the bona fides of the marriage, but it all comes down to the facts. If you do not submit all the evidence for the I-751 and the officer doesn't approve the I-751, you will not get to the citizenship. So that's the important thing to note. And the I-751 required documents, it really depends on your what your circumstances are. Is it evidence related to the waiver because you're not applying with your spouse? Is it evidence related to your current marriage? I want to be a client, but I would love to know more beforehand. Give us a call. Go to the top of the screen on the comments. You'll see the phone number. You can go to the link in the profile and click on the link, go to the website, and you'll be able to see information there about the firm, what we do, what our practice areas are, and a form to get in touch with us. We are working around the clock to answer phones and to be there for our clients and for those who need help. Is my Jamaican passport and EAD card a form of real ID? So it's not a form of real ID, but it serves as an alternative to the real ID. The EAD, you can use the EAD and that will be a valid alternative as long as it's valid and current and unexpired. Married to a U.S. citizen, 10-year green card. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you've been married for more than 2 years, you get the 10-year. If less than 2 years, you get the 2-year. I was qualified for T, applied for it in 2024. How much longer do I have to wait? So right now I'm seeing it going towards the 18-month mark than the 12-month mark. And keep in mind, under this administration, we might see longer processing times as they use more screening tools in the process of making a decision. So while it's never guaranteed, processing times are never guaranteed, I would say, look towards more of the 18-month mark. How much is your consultation fee? So once you give us a call and we can qualify you to say, yes, you do have an option we can help you with, then we go ahead and schedule the consultation. So the initial evaluation is free. That way we don't waste your time and money. And then at that point, it's $150. I did get my work permit. So I don't know what the situation is with the Social Security Administration. You may have to set an appointment to go in person and bring your work permit and your approval documents to the Social Security office. And maybe that would turn the tides with them. What does USCIS have to do with someone's driver's license, especially that a US citizen? My husband's at issue. So I'm not sure what that question is asking. If I'm divorced, do I have to wait 5 years to file for my new spouse? If you got your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, you divorce them, and now you want to get remarried within 5 years of getting the green card, you're going to face a hurdle because they are supposed to deny it unless you can show by clear and convincing evidence. That's basically sort of saying you have to show proof without a doubt that your marriage is real. So it's a very high standard to meet in immigration law. And so it means that you're likely to be denied. But here's the deal. When that happens, it's opening up a can of worms, because not only are they going to look at your records, they're going to look at your spouse's, your past spouse's records. So they're going to look at, well, let's go back and see, was your marriage to that spouse real? So they're going to dig into everything all over again. And keep in mind here, clear and convincing evidence. You have to show clear and convincing evidence that your current marriage is real and your past marriage that you divorced from was real. So yes, it is. It turns into it can potentially turn into a mess. So you want to be careful about that. How long does it take to get the work permit approved? 6 to 12 months. Family-based, marriage-based, employment-based, 3 to 6 months. After submitting N400 and all the evidence, what more evidence they need to approve the I-751? So they're going to need proof of bona fides and proof of divorce if you're doing it based on divorce, proof of mistreatment which can be a statement if it's based on mistreatment, extreme hardship, showing the extreme hardship. Now, it's any credible evidence. I don't want you to think you have to show proof beyond a doubt, but you do have to show evidence that's believable to support your position. All right, I have to head out. Thank you so much for your time. Let's see. I asked a question earlier about green card. Can you repeat what you said? So let's see. I can't scroll. But get in touch with us. Get in touch with us if you have particular questions about your case. Get in touch with us, call us, and we can do the initial evaluation and then get started on real action to help find a solution for you. That's what we do here at the firm. We help find solutions for our clients, and our clients benefit greatly. And it's our clients that really have put their faith in me and the firm and the process that have excelled. So go ahead, give us a call, and let us see if we can help you with an option, and then get started. All right. Have a good weekend. I will see you on Monday. So this week I was here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yay. So I didn't miss a day. I'm happy for that. I'm going to keep showing up. What you can do is like, subscribe, follow, share, so that when I come on, and if you're available, you can come on and ask questions as well. And then we can just keep doing that. So thanks again, everybody, for all these great questions. I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.